happy to do it too. All right. Then I'll have the playlist.
Okay, so let's do this again. It's take 3. All right, so welcome to the Coffee Club, everyone. And I am so excited today because we have the world's greatest sales trainer, as I said, in the world. And this is amazing that she comes all the way on a 5 a.m. Saturday morning from Australia. And she brought a lot of her friends with us. So let's go ahead and give it up for Misty Henkel. Yay.
Hi guys, I'm so excited to be here. You can tell it's 5 a.m. I'm still in my pajamas. So I'm really excited to be here. You know, here's a quick sales tip for you, right? Tell everyone what time it is wherever you're at, because if you want engagement, if you turn around, I remember going to a group, being asked to speak at a group a couple of years ago. And actually, someone who used to be able to come here a lot to Coffee Club, and she said, Missy, you're amazing. I need you to speak to my group. And there was about 20 people. She knew who I was. They didn't know who I was at all. And it was 11 o'clock for them. So it was about 2 o'clock in the morning for me. I just said yes without knowing any of the time that I looked into it. But when I turned up, right, and I know that when people don't know who I am, and I'm like a golden retriever, I'm 100% full on, I'm excited, my tail is wagging, I'm leaning in, I'm like, let's go, which can be a bit scary to new people, right? So I've turned up to this group and they're sitting there going, oh yes, so we've got this speaker. Okay, this is lovely. She's going to tell us some stuff. And I said, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be here. It's 2 o'clock in the morning for me. And they've gone, oh my God, what do you have to say that's that important? I'm writing great notes. Never had such an engaged crowd. So seriously, tell people the time it is where you're at and everybody leans in. They listen, they write, they ask questions. So that's my hot tip. All right, so I'm a sales trainer, in case you hadn't worked it out. So I'm a sales trainer. I run a group called Business at Breakfast. Actually, I'm just the lead volunteer over there. I've been there for 9 years. I think the group's been around about 10. Started in Canberra, Australia. COVID hit. It went online. I then thought, let me grab people from everywhere for that, because HMP was on as well, right? So I could grab people over the world. So let me grab some people from there. And of course, when it went back to face-to-face, I couldn't leave. So I've been online now doing Business at Breakfast online for 4 years because I'd collected too many people from all over the place, and mostly nobody's from Canberra there, which is really funny because I still run via their time zone, even though it's not there. So over at Business at Breakfast, I'm networking, and as a sales trainer, I teach networking as a sales tactic, as a sales thing, right? So how to use networking as a sales tool. So there's lots of skills that we learn from networking, but that we can then filter back through all this stuff. What I like about networking is it teaches you how to speak about what it is you do, which is ultimately what I teach as a sales trainer. It teaches you how to speak. So today's class is, oh my gosh, Tina's coming in. Finally, this is exciting. So what today's class is called Whose Problem Is It? Now, I am a fast talker, and you'll get to write notes. On the other hand, it's going to be recorded, so you'll get to go back and rewatch as well. But it is a bit interactive, so you get to sort of join in, and I've written some notes to paste into the chat box as well. So whose problem is it? This is a sales topic. All right, I'm not going to ask you how is it a sales topic. You're going to work it out along the way, but it's really to do with sales objections. Hands up. As salesmen, we're all salesmen because we have something to sell, right? Because we're all in business. So who gets stuck sometimes on the sales objections that customers throw your way, where they'll say something and think, I don't know how to fix that. I don't know how to answer that problem. Okay, great. So let's first off start with, let's have a look at what are some of the sales objections that get thrown your way. Just call them out so that we can hear some of these sales objections. What have we got?
We've already got a photographer.
We've already got a photographer. Yes. Yep. What else have we got?
We got Santa to make people smile.
Well, you do have Santa, but is that an objection, or is that just people have just gone, oh, that's cool? So what's the objection that comes to you when you go to sell, like to have them Santa approved or something? What's an objection that or does an objection come up for you?
Good question.
Misty, for me, it's trying to explain why handmade costs a little bit more, and then I try to talk about the advantages of buying something handmade over machine made.
All right, let's have a look at that one, right? So let's go back to Michael. Michael, as you get your objection, could you just type it into the chat box, right? I'm just going to write, hang on, before you write anything, I'm just going to write sales objection so that it all falls underneath that, right? So write yours, Michael. All right, so Elise, yours is, so yours would be, this is nice, but why is it that expensive?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why is it that expensive? Right, write that one in, right? Handmade products, why is it so expensive? That's your objection, right? Why is it so expensive? All right, who's got something else?
It's too expensive.
It's too expensive, great, type it in. Who's got something else? Jim, what would yours be with cartoons?
I won't use cartoons because it makes my business look childish.
Yep, great, write it into the chat box. Yep, chuck that one in. What's some others? Debbie, what's yours? Debbie Harris.
I was just typing, Misty. I said, I've tried and failed before. Why is this different?
Right, tried and failed before. Okay. All right, what else have we got? I've got a bunch of them, right? So I'm just going to highlight some in there, but feel free to chuck yours in, right, to the chat box. So we've got these ones as well. And you'll see that the list is not exhaustible, like it will go on forever. It's too expensive, I don't have the money, I'd love to but I don't have the time, someone else is selling the same thing for half the price, it sounds a bit woo-woo, I already have a different version, I can do it cheaper myself, can I have it cheaper? I have to ask my husband, I don't think it applies to me, I think I do a good job already, my sister can do that for me, too many things going on at the moment. You know, I hear that I've already got 15 classes. I'm already doing 15 classes. Sometimes I'll say something like I've written 2 sales books, right? And it's for people, they're $30 each. And it's for people who don't want to come to class, but want to learn how to sell themselves. And they go, oh, I'd love that. And I say, do you want a copy? Would you like one of my books? And they'll say, I've already got 14 books lined up on the side of my bed that I haven't got to reading yet. Right? So you can see how it's sales objection. That's what it seems, right? So if we have a look at all these objections, right? Let's have a look and see which one is the customer's problem and which one's the salesman's. So we're going to go back up the top, right? So whose problem is it, right? Let's have a look at Michael's, right? Now, I want you to just make a decision. Is it a salesman's problem? Is it a customer's problem? That's the only answer I want you to come up with at the moment, right? I'm not going to discuss it. Whatever your answer is the right answer. So but we're going to have a look at it from both sides, right? So at the moment, we're just going to filter which side does it come on. So just write a list on your page, like, so that we can have a look. And I'm just going to go down from the top down. So lady can go back to the chat box and see which one we're talking about. So Michael's, already have a photographer, salesman or customer's problem. Just write on your page if it's customer or salesman. Somebody call out. What do you got? Michael, what do you reckon? Customer or salesman's problem? You got to be on mute.
It's a salesman. It's a salesman.
Problem? Okay, salesman's problem. Elise, handmade products. Why are they so expensive? Customer or salesman's problem?
Customer.
Okay, it's too expensive. Whose problem's that?
Customer.
Okay, I don't have enough money. Whose problem?
Customer.
Okay, I'd love to, but I don't have the time.
Customer.
Okay, all right. So, Lee, I'm going to get you to
Yes.
stop for a moment. Not that I mind, actually. I don't mind. But now I'm going to ask someone else, right? Someone else is selling the same thing for half the price. What do you reckon, Claire?
I'd say customer.
Right, it's a bit woo-woo for me. Let's think of energy healing. Adele, I'll ask you. It's a bit woo-woo for me.
Customer.
Essential oils, it'll be Cindy, it'll be Teresa as well. Bit woo-woo for me. What do you reckon, customer or salesman?
Customer.
Don't know.
Customer.
Okay. Yep. What do you reckon, Adele?
Customer.
Okay. Already have a different version. What do you reckon? Who wants to join? Debbie Miller. Already have a different version. So I've got a will. I've already got a different version of a will.
Sorry, Misty, what did you say?
All right. Do you reckon it's a customer's problem or a salesman's problem? I've already got a different version. So let's say it was in regards to wills. I have a will made already. I've already got a different version. Salesman's problem or customers?
Customer.
Customer's problem? Yeah. All right. Can I get it cheaper? Customer's problem or salesman's problem?
Customer.
Customer.
Okay. So let's have a look at these. Pick which one's the salesman's problem.
They could be all of them.
Could be. Pick one.
I don't think it applies to me.
Could be salesman's problem. How is it a salesman's problem?
Because clearly you haven't explained it properly. You haven't found how what their need is and how this helps them.
Okay. Yeah. Pick another one that could be a salesman's problem.
Me.
I think the too expensive.
Too expensive
Just
salesman's problem. How is
The
that?
salesman's problem.
Yep.
Haven't
How is that a
provided enough.
salesman's problem?
Haven't provided enough value or shown that it's of value.
What if they don't have the money?
But they-
All right. Okay, let's go again. Pick one more. Is there any others that stand out that you think that's definitely a salesman's problem?
I would say mine, we already have a photographer. It's a
Yep,
sa-
already have a photographer. Yep,
It's a
salesman's
sa-
problem.
It's a salesman's problem because me as the salesman, I have to make two decisions. One, to go elsewhere, or two, to convince the customer that I can add value to them. So both ways, it's my salesman
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yep. So I'll tell you now, every single one of these, and we're starting to go down a bit of a theme. Who noticed that it was customer's problem, customer's problem, customer's problem? Who was noticing that, right? When you were stopping to think about it, customer's problem. If it's a customer's problem then, and then we'll go to the salesman in a minute, if you consider it a customer's problem, whose problem is it to solve?
Yours,
As in the salesman's or the customer?
salesman. Obviously, they're not happy with their existing searches, so they're coming to see you to get another clarification or another idea on their already decision, because you're offering the same product or something a little bit different. But why are they coming to you in the first place if they didn't go with the other people? Because they're not satisfied with the other people's marketing or product.
Okay, that could be one way to look at it. Yes. All right. I'll ask this question. Who's got kids?
Well,
Just put your hand up if you've got kids. Doesn't matter how old they are, because they would have started off small. Who ever noticed when kids went to school, sometimes they'd come home from school? It's particularly moms do this, by the way, right? Kids come home from school and say, oh, the worst day of my life. It was so terrible. Somebody picked on me and called me, whatever. Who's ever noticed that? Who's ever seen a child do that? Come home and say, I didn't have a good day, and they're all upset. Now, who's then jumped in to see if they could solve that problem? I know I have. My mom definitely does it. I say, oh my God, I had such a bad day. Here's how she'd start. Well, maybe if you did, hang on. I really don't want your thoughts and opinions. And I didn't ask for it to be solved, by the way. I just said I was having a bad day, right? Now, I was aware that my mom used to upset me with this, but I was completely unaware of how she managed to do this all the time, until once I met a woman out networking. She's an artist. And one day I said to her, she's about the same age as my mom. And I said to her, this is going back about, I don't know, let's say 7 years ago. And I said, oh my God, I'm having such the worst day. Here's what she said. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
God. I felt so good and so listened to, because nobody gave me a thought and idea, right? Whereas I know particularly moms who go, well, let me see if I can solve that. But here's the question. If a kid says I'm having a bad day, it sounds like a problem. Whose problem is it to solve?
The kids.
Kids. So question, when it comes to these here, if a customer has a problem, why is it the salesman's problem to solve?
It's not.
Right? See how we take on a lot of things that may not necessarily be ours. Now, I'll tell you this, traditional sales training will teach you this. Oh, Deborah's on her way in. So traditional sales training will teach you this. Let's take the expensive one. It's too expensive or I don't have any money. If the customer says it's too expensive or they don't have any money, traditional sales training would teach this. It's your problem, yours the salesman's problem, and your problem to fix. Unless you're giving someone cash, it's not an easy problem to fix. It's interesting. Prior to Google, so traditional sales training was great before Google because all of this worked really well, because if it was a salesman's problem, they just had to talk more features and benefits. Now that we've got Google, the customer has really researched the crap out of whatever it is that they're doing. And they've come up with all these different thoughts and ideas. Now, according to the salesman, since they don't know the complete problem or why they've been Googling it, but the salesman tends to think, well, I don't think the customer knows what they're talking about. Well, the customer does from the angle of which they've researched, which now makes it harder for salesmen to solve problems that they're not completely aware of the full problem. The answer of it's too expensive or I don't have any money. On the surface of it is if they don't have any money, they don't have any money. Now, if you think about that answer, I don't have any money. If you're selling a house or a car, these are high-end products, don't have any money, how has the salesman been taught to help solve that problem? Let's take a house, house or a car. You don't have the money to buy it outright. How does a salesman solve that problem?
Let's get you approved
Finance
or
it.
pre-approved. Yeah, finance.
Let's get you
Finance it.
pre-approved. Someone else said financing, absolutely. Right?
Mhm.
So to solve the problem, it was all about financing. So they could help you with finance. Now, quick question, show of hands. Put your hand up if you can finance a customer who says, I don't have any money. Can you finance them? Have you got personal cash? No, as in, do you have personal cash? Kathy can, because actually Congo Border System, you've got interest-free terms, correct? So, yep, high-end product, right? But let's have a look at everybody else's. Do you give out bank loans, like personally give out bank loans? Right? Do you just give them the cash and let them pay you back a different way? You the bank loan, right? So if you can't solve that problem with something very specific like Kathy's interest-free terms, then it's not a problem you can solve. It's a problem you can understand though. Hey, who's ever been in a position where you think, oh my God, I'd love to have that, but I just don't have any cash right now, right? And that's what they're saying. I don't have the money right now. I don't have the money for it right now because the idea just came to me because Christmas was on and I spent it all for Christmas parties or, whatever it is, right? I remember going back a couple of years ago, there was a group, when I was in Canberra, there was a group that I'd go to every single one of their meetings. It was face-to-face every fortnight, right? About $20 for a ticket to go to all their meetings. And then it gets to the end of the year, right? And the Christmas party, the day before the event, the Christmas party thing went out and said, the Christmas party, it's on this night, it's $75, which was so much more than the 20 we used to pay, right? But it was $75. I've gone, I can't not go. I've gone to every other event. Got to go to this one, right? No problems. I'm going to go. That's the idea. I'm never going to miss it, right? Turn up to the networking event the next day. And after the event, we all stayed on and had lunch. And then someone says to me, hey, Misty, did you see that the My Vibe Christmas party has come up? Yes, and that's are you going? Are you going? I said yes. They said, do you see that the tickets are $75? I said I did, as a matter of fact. And then someone says, and have you bought your ticket? I said no, I haven't yet. So then someone else says, well, why not? And I said, well, because I don't have the money at the moment. So then somebody else pipes up. Apparently they thought it was their problem to solve. Oh, that's because you don't charge enough for your coaching sessions. No, that's not why I don't have it. No, it is. Here, let me prove it to you. Then half a dozen of the 30 decided they'd prove to me why I should charge more money for a coaching session. And I said, it's not any of those reasons. I said, I've done all these other coaching sessions, 400 coaching sessions this year. And they've gone, let me do a quick calculation. This was back when I was doing 2021s, 2022s, right? So it's $20 for a coaching session. Let me calculate 400 times $20. That's only 8,000 this year for the whole year, right? I said, well, you're assuming that I've only sold one thing once, but then I haven't sold classes and books. And so then I said, why don't you ask me why I don't have any money? Can anyone guess why I didn't have any money? We're coming towards Christmas party. Kathy.
Because you have children.
That's right. I spent it on Christmas presents the day before and I've got crap. So all I said was, I don't have the money for it. I don't have any money for it right now. I didn't say I can't ever get it. And I'm not like, I didn't say I'm never getting it before the party's due, or I'm never going to have another cent, or I'm not selling it anymore before the end of the year. I just said, I don't have any money for it right now. Right. But notice how everybody else wanted to solve the problem. And they were like all over the place. Never occurred to them to ask why. Where's your money? All right. So here's what I want you to know. All of these things, these are customer problems, right? Now, they could be salesmen's problems, but that's because we've taken it on as our own. Michael gave a great example. I already have a photographer. Whose problem is it? Well, it's customers. Well, no, it's not. They've got a photographer. So Michael goes, well, it's mine because they need to either go with that photographer or come to me. Well, it's only a problem if you decide now to turn it into a competition and divert someone who says, hey, I'm getting married and I've got a photographer already. It's not really his problem because it wasn't his sale to start with. Now, Santa Papa John turned around and said, but, why are they talking to you? What if they just met Michael and said, so Michael, what do you do? Could be here. I'm a photographer. I do weddings. And then someone pipes up and goes, oh, that's really exciting. Yes, I've got a photographer for my wedding. We don't know the full context of how that conversation came about. It could have just been in passing. It may not have been a sales opportunity to start with, but hey, at least they were listening to what it is that you have to say. So tick 1 for you managed to advertise yourself and they got it. Doesn't mean it's a sales opportunity, which means, again, not your problem to solve. I want you to write this down. Customers don't have objections, by the way. No such thing as a sales objection. It's called a customer comment. This will be relevant to the minute. All right, but we're going to look at them as objections. So if they are objections, then it sounds like they're objecting to your thing. They're actually comments. I don't have any money. It's too expensive. I've got to ask my husband. These are just comments. It sounds like they're
Uses.
Yeah, it sounds like excuses too. An excuse from a customer is an objection, right? So I object all the time when the boys say, I want McDonald's, and someone says, yeah, me too. Well, I don't want to drive down and get it. Well, we got no other way of getting it. So you'll get in the car and you drive down. That's the general decision of the 3 boys in the house, all right? 2 boys and Simon. You'll drive down and get it. And the doggies are there going, oh, we'd be happy with that. We'll have some chicken nuggets. They're just as happy for me to do it. Simon even says, look. I mean, we have a joint card. He goes, take my card. And you're not using your money. It's our money, but it feels right. So I object. I'm not going down. I object as I get in the car and drive down. I get to McDonald's. 3 hamburgers for, 2 small kids and a man. $50. I get a change of about $3 something from $50. I object to spending $50 on 3 hamburgers at McDonald's as I hand over the cash and drive away. Now, while I'm saying, no, I'm not spending that, I'm going to spend the money and go, that's not an objection. It's a comment, very loud complaint. An objection is, I'm not going, and then I don't. An objection is, I'm not spending that money, and then I don't. But since we see customers do this all the time, now who's done this before? Who's gone to the supermarket to buy one thing, let's call it milk, and then left with a grocery bag full of stuff that costs $20, $30, $40, $50, right? Or pounds, right? Right? All done it, right? And you're looking at it going, how did that happen? I object to spending this much money. If you objected, you'd put it back. You don't. You're complaining loudly about objecting and you walk out with it, right? So that's called a complaint. I'm complaining about the cash I just spent, but I'm not really objecting, or otherwise I wouldn't take it, right? So customers make comments, they make complaints. All right, so let's look at all this. If all of this becomes a customer problem, therefore it's now a customer problem to solve. Who's noticed this? Who's been a customer before and you've made a comment to somebody, you think, I really want that, but you've said, oh, yeah, I would, but it's too expensive. And then who's noticed, who's had it where a salesman has gone, here, let me explain how you can get it. Who's had that situation before? Just pop your hand up. All right. Who loves it when somebody decides to talk over the top of you and tell you how you can get it when you've just turned around and said no? No hands? Yeah. Right. Isn't that interesting? Right. Yep. Michelle? Yeah. You've had that happen? Yeah. Do you like it when someone just talks over the top of you and you think, you're not really listening to me, right? It's amazing, isn't it? Right? So that's a person who's decided to take on your comment as their problem to solve. Hang on, let me see if I can solve this for you.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, you're thinking, why can't you just listen to me? Here's what I want you to know about problems. People were invented to solve problems. That's it. That's our big thing. Now, mostly we wish we had less problems to solve, or who would love no problems? Like if you could just sit back, kick back and read a book for a week with absolutely no problems to solve. None. Wouldn't that be amazing, right? Apparently, according to God, that would make us feel bored after a certain amount of time. And so he gave us the ability to solve problems. Now, this problem solving thing is like right back in caveman days, fight and flight. While we don't need the fight and flight so much because we're not in danger of saber-toothed tigers, the problem solving thing has never gone away. Now, in order to solve a problem, what do we need first to solve a problem? What do we need?
A solution.
No, you need something before the solution. What
The
would that
problem.
be?
You gotta have the problem, right? Yeah.
Problem. Let's have a look at all of our customer objections. What are they? Problems. Notice that a person, right, inherently, they can't stop themselves automatically create a problem from anything. Who's got a problem that's so low in price? Let's say, shit, Kathy's books for free. Let's take those ones. They're for free online, right? They're for free on YouTube. I bet, Kathy, you've had this one. Free? Oh my God, why do you do that? I mean, that's nice and all, but I mean, seriously, how do you make any money? I bet you get that.
I do.
You're doing a posting party for free. How do you make any money? Whose problem is that to solve? The person who's asking or Kathy? But notice how, while they'll be nice, wow, that's so generous of you, but seriously, I don't know how you live. Now, they've just created a problem. Now, a problem is usually a negative thing. That's why it's a problem, right? So since people like problems to solve, give it back to them, right? So I'm going to give you so all of these problems fall into 5 answers. That's it. And I have it already pre-typed, so I'm going to give it to you right here. All right, give me 2 seconds. These are the sales objection answers, otherwise known as customer comment answers, right? Here they are here. 2 seconds, just highlight that so that you see it. Here they are, right here. That one. All right. All right, just saw on Facebook, save $357 by not going to Costco for blueberries. Yes. There's a problem solved. All right, here's the answers, right? The sales objection or a comment is, I have to speak to my husband. Here's your answer. I agree you should. What do you think you'll say? Notice now you've listened to what they said, I have to speak to my husband, but you've given the problem back to them, right? If you say, oh, yes, you should do that, tell me what he says later, you've now started to take on that problem. You've started to take it as if it's a problem. And now you agree that it's an objection. See, when a salesman treats things as objections, the customer gets to object, right? So here's another one. I think I'll go with the other guy. He's cheaper. Sounds like a salesman's problem. But they're literally just telling you what the thought in their head. They've created a problem. I'll go with the other guy. It's cheaper, right? You got 2 answers. Like you got the first one here. The second answer is actually number 5. I think I'll go with the other guy. He's half your price. Yeah, I know. Crazy, isn't it? You could use that one. It puts the problem back on them. Why were they talking to you about the price in the first place, right? Or otherwise, I'll go with the other guy. He's cheaper. Yes, you should do that. I think my sister can do it, or I think I can do it for free. Great. Yes, you should do that. Oh, my God, I want to hear the results. That's amazing. I'm happy to be your plan B. I had someone the other day come to a class and she said, oh, I've got to tell you a plan B story. Someone had asked about websites and they said they could do it themselves or they would go with someone else. And I said, that's fantastic. I can't wait to see the end result. I'm happy to be your plan B. She said, that's all I wrote because that's all you told me I was allowed to write. I didn't write anything else about what I do to try and re-explain myself. She said, you know what? I just got an email from this guy saying, just wondering, is it still possible for you to be my plan B? And she's going, I don't even know who the hell this guy is anymore. Yes, of course it is. Let's get back online, right? So if they're going with someone else, they've already talked themselves out of you. There's no point you trying to convince them otherwise. Agree with them. Be nice. Be nice. Just acknowledge you heard them. And then the plan B basically saying, I'm not going anywhere. So go with the other guy. I'll just be a backup should you need it. It's amazing how many people need backups. Quick question. Who's ever accomplished something from plan A? Hand up. I mean, every now and then, maybe. But who usually needs a couple of ways to end up with the end result? Yeah, you know what? That one didn't work. You know, what do they say about making plans or accomplishing plans or something like that? You know, if you have a plan for the weekend, you can tell the whole family, and then you go, fastest way to have your plan discovered is tell someone or tell God, because then it'll rain. I actually think God helps a lot with getting the answers done, but on the same time, you know, if you tell people, sometimes you think, is that why? Is that why the plans didn't come off? On the other hand, if you don't tell anyone, you can't accomplish your plans. So, you know, see how the problem could go either way. We're going to create a problem. We're going to blame someone. Either way. It's because I told someone. It's because I didn't tell someone. How do you solve that? Well, you have to solve it based off your thought patterns, right? Next one. I think I have that covered. My sister can do it. I think I have it covered. You know what? That social media stuff, I'm not sure that it really works. The photographer, I've already got a photographer. Here's your line there, Michael. That's fantastic. Well, you get to either be a plan B, or you could say, that's fantastic. I don't hear that often enough. It says that somebody's already looking into things and trying to organize themselves. Give them encouragement for what they've found. Doesn't mean they're not going to come back to you and ask questions. If you're the nicest person in the room, you end up with the money, right? Because nobody wants to give their money over to someone who's arguing with them, right? I don't have any money. This one is the only one. I don't have any money. I understand how you feel. Hands up. Who's run out of money before? Sometimes you think, shit, wish I was carrying my wallet. Yeah, understand how they feel. This is not used for anything else other than this line here. You can use it for, I wish I could, but I don't have time. If you say, I understand how you feel for a time thing, they go, well, then you'll understand I can't get any extra. Here's the thing with time. There's only a limited supply, 24 hours per day. That's it. When it runs out, it restarts tomorrow, but you can't get more than that. Money is an infinite amount. You get more or less on any particular day. But time is it. If they already think they can't work time, then you don't understand with them. They can't work time, they can't work time. Here's your answer for, I would, but I don't have time. I know, crazy, isn't it? What you're saying is time is a crazy thing. Most objections will fall into this, I know, crazy, isn't it line. Even the, sounds a bit woo-woo to me, I know, crazy, isn't it? Now, the woo-woo people don't necessarily like that. They're going, oh, they already think I'm nuts. No. What you're saying is, it's not that it's crazy. Let's take Site K. It can seem very out there, right? It's magic how Site K works, right? So they go, oh, it sounds a bit woo-woo to me. I know, crazy, isn't it? Not saying Site K is crazy. You're just saying, look, the universe in general is a bit weird, isn't it? It's just a bit out there. So it's okay to use that. I know, crazy, isn't it? Use that one this week, like for the rest of the weekend, like go around and as much today as you can. Every time someone says something to you, use the I know, crazy, isn't it line and see if they don't stop and start solving their own problems. It's amazing how great this line is for everything. And start to see, was that a problem that I needed to solve? Or were they just saying something to me I only need to acknowledge? Practice that one, it's good fun. All right, watching the time. Who's got questions or comments?
You did a wonderful job, young lady.
Thank you.
Yes,
Misty,
I-
I'll take that to heart. That is, you're on Santa's nice list for about 5 more seconds. So,
I think I've been approved for a second. Yep. Debbie, you and then Lee wants to ask something. Yep.
Just Misty, that yes, and certainly with something like weight loss and getting healthy, people have to be in the right frame of mind and have to be ready. And you are absolutely right. I acknowledge them, and more times than not, they come back because they aren't able to do it on their own. So you're absolutely right.
Let's take the weight loss one, right? Okay, what makes yours different to everybody else's? All right, is that one of the, what was the one that you said? Why should I do it? I've tried it so many times.
I've tried it so many times, and
Here's
that's
your answer. Here's your answer there, right, Debbie? It's number 3. You know, I hear that all the time.
that's exactly what I say. And I say I was there for over 50 years.
Yeah.
And it automatically changes the tone of the conversation.
Yep. even the let's have a look at Elise. Elise said about her duckies, right? Like, why is the knitted stuff so expensive? You know, I get asked that all the time. Then stop talking.
And you know what? Your comment about providing value is one I'm going to use, because people only have X amount of money to spend. And do you want to spend your money on something of value that's going to last, or buy something less expensive that is going to fall apart?
No, don't explain yourself. Don't explain yourself. Here's what I'm saying, right? The whole point here is don't explain yourself. Have these as acknowledgements, but don't give the extra. It's about, this is the answers right here, and then stop talking. Like, why is it so much more expensive to get handmade? You can say, I know, crazy, isn't it? Let them work it out. Their problem. They brought it forward, not you, not your problem. It sounds like they're asking you a question. They're not. It's, my boys taught me this one, which we know the answer, but anyhow, when they were 10 years old, they learnt this word. It's rhetorical, Mum. I'm not after an answer, right? That comment of, why is it so expensive? It's actually rhetorical. It's not really for you to give an answer. I know, crazy, isn't it? Becomes good. Or, you know, I hear that all the time. Stop talking and then wait and see how they interpret that. Here's what often happens. They have this look of confusion on their face that says, shit, I can't believe I just said that out loud. Why would I ask that? That's insane. I already know the answer, right? And you get to be nice. Go, don't worry, you get asked it all the time.
Thank you.
Yep. So there's your answer. Those are the answers, right? So you're right. Stop talking. Yep. If it's not your problem to solve, you don't need to explain it. You just need to give them a quick, I hear what you're saying, stop talking, right? So I'll quickly ask, what's some take-homes from today's class? What are your big take-homes? Let's go around. Pop some hands up.
I know. Isn't it crazy?
I know. Crazy, isn't it? That is like, I say it so much, someone turned it into a GIF for me, so I will send that. I will send that to you. It's so funny. And so I've just sent that off on, when someone writes it, text message me, and then I just send them the GIF. I know, crazy, isn't it? And then everyone goes,
well, may I give a shout out to Misty, because she is an awesome sales trainer. For $35 that she charges for that, you can't go wrong. So, you know, get on her sales training calendar, because all the stuff she talked about here, she can possibly go over it with you, or buy her book yet. Better yet, it's.
Thank you. Thank you, Lee.
It
Yes, there you go.
It is.
And I now have them downloadable on Etsy for like $11 each. So for those who like it instant and want it nearby, you can download it too. So thank you. All right, who has a take home? What's another take home? Yes, Michael.
Stop talking and listen.
Stop talking. Yep, just listen to what they say, acknowledge it, and let them be quiet. Then be quiet and let them think about what it is that they're asking. Were they asking something? Or were they just making a comment? Right, Kathy? Not. What was your take home?
I love the "let me be your plan B." I never thought of that. That's pretty good.
100%. Kathy, I'd love to get some art from you, but I've already got all this art all over my wall. Oh, no problems. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be your plan B.
You can be
Don't
I'll let you be my plan
undervalue
B.
yourself to chase.
Yeah, there's no need. They created the problem, right? I noticed Judy put her hand up, and then Alison up in the top corner. Judy, what's your take home?
It's the perspective of what you said with it being with objections or comments, and just understanding that these aren't true objections. That's their comments on the situation. And like you said, the way that with responding and with understanding makes a huge difference. Like you said, we're not taking on the problem. We're not taking on the problem to try and fix it. It's not ours to fix.
Yes, the moment you take it on as an objection, you will treat it like an objection, and they get to go, oh, well, then I can't get it and I can walk. If you treat it as an objection, they'll object. But if you treat it as a comment, now they have to think, now, why did I say that? Why am I here in the first place? Why would I even bring it up? You put it all back on them. Alison, what's your take home?
I've been given permission to be free. I get to stay in the fun space and not get caught up in, it's not a problem. Most of it's not a problem.
No, no, it's not. So we don't have to take on these problems that aren't actually ours. Who would like a few less problems in their life? Just put your hand up. You know, I say, the boys will ask me something like, "What's for dinner?" You know what? I solve 1,000 problems every day. If you guys solve that one problem, you pick it, I'll cook it. Like, just solve the problem. You decide, I'll cook. Right? And it's amazing how they can sit there going, "I can't solve that problem." Well, you'll need to sit with it a little bit longer. I mean, ultimately, it might be a matter of just going to the freezer and looking to see what's in there. It might be just going, "What's your favorite meal today?" Problem solved, right? Parents try to solve that problem all the time and then wonder, why did the meal thing go wrong? I cooked something they didn't want. We didn't allow them to solve the problem. All right. Michelle, I'm watching the time. I better let you take over.
Thank you, guys. I know there's a girls call after this one, I think, right, Kathy? Okay, and I don't want all the girls. I'm sorry, guys, you can't go to that, but girls just want to have fun call. And Kathy, if you would put it in the chat really quick for them so they can go there if they want to go have fun. It's every Friday at 3 p.m. Central. Misty, thank you so much for always saying yes and being a great trainer and giving us some ideas on how to handle people's problems without having to take on all their problems. So I appreciate you for that. And know when it is a problem and when the questions need to be answered, actually, as you gave me some ideas on that, because they're going to come back with a question again if they don't understand, well, why do you think that's crazy? You know, I just want to know why, you know, and they might get into depth then, or they just might like think, okay, whatever, you know, I'll buy or I won't, you know, but it continues the conversation on the customer's end.
100%.
Yeah.
It's all about getting, look, the customer will sell everything all to themselves, all by themselves, if they talk. So if you stop talking and let them go through their train of thought, well, they've just brought something up. Think of it as like, get out of your story of what I need to tell them and get into theirs. It's too expensive. I don't have the money. If you say, I know, crazy, isn't it? Right. Or I understand how you feel. They'll tell you what story they're in and they'll start telling you. And I'll tell you what, who's been there? Well, as we all said, we've been in the grocery store and bought more than we planned. How did that happen? It sat silently on the shelf with its price and you did it all by yourself. Because the customers will do all this if we stand there silently and listen to their story. Who stood in front of the chocolate section and gone, seriously, chocolate has gone up now?
Yeah.
Why? Why is that happening? Chocolate stands there silently and then you have to make a decision. Damn it, I have to buy it at that extra price now.
Yeah, am I going to spend an extra $2 or am I going to wait till it goes on sale? Then you walk away or you take a whole bunch of chocolate with you. So, I mean, wonderful. So we could go on all day, you guys, and I know we got stuff to do. I got to go get my grandson. You guys all got to jump on a call. And everyone have a great weekend. Thank you again, Misty. It's been amazing. Save the chat. If you haven't, I'll give you 1 minute to save the chat.
Just did it.
And I've done it too, and I've got everybody's email address.
Thank you.
See everybody back here at 2 p.m. Central Time, 2 Fridays from now. Bye.
Ho, 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 ho.
2 weeks.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.